Once all our friends departed back home post-wedding, we spent a day relaxing, reflecting on all the incredible moments that happened over the week. In tears and laughter, we recalled as many conversations as we could, just not wanting to forget any detail. We put together our guest book, gluing all the Polaroids that were taken at the wedding to everyone's note that they left behind for us. We plan to keep all the open pages reserved for future guests we hope to have on Alivo. We relish these slow moments, gathering our energy for the busy month that lays ahead. All right, we are back on Alivo. Now we are rested and ready to dive right back into projects. And our first one was to go finally pick up our chain plates, and Connor measured them out and got the angle of the chain plates right before the wedding. And we just got him back. Connor is
testing it out. I got this on here because I don't want to drop this thing in the water. It's pretty expensive and they sink really fast, I'm assuming. So
yeah.
I'm gonna have to basically I'm gonna take this one out and then try to get a longer pin. I might just use a bolt for now, but a 5/8 bolt so I can get that lined up perfect. And then once that's all lined up, then I can hang this and kind of mark my holes and make sure I'll just do the one hole first and then put that bolt in and then do the next hole and put that bolt in and kind of get it all set so we don't mis-drill any holes.
All right, we are hustling one more month in this slip. It's go time.
It's go time. So I got this loose tension gauge.
Watch out, that's a chain plate.
I know they're
Our
delicate.
precious chain plate.
I'm just trying to measure all the tension on all of our stays because I am going to have to be loosening them to get everything back in order. So right now we have a tension of 30 is the level on here, which translates to 870, what is that, pounds? 5% of our braking strength on this because we have 3/8 cable. So I'm just going to go around and check all of these so that I can put them back to the same tension, just to put it back to where it was, and then we will have a rigger come out to double check everything before we actually take off on our big adventure. But for now, just trying to leave it as it is. I don't know, do you want to follow me all around?
Sure. You're my husband now. I'll go anywhere you go.
People might be curious to what our tension is. People might have good advice for us. Trying to keep these at about the same distance also. So this is 34, which translates to 7% braking strength on this cable. 1200. This one.
Just don't drop it in the water.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Someone did that on their video I was watching last night. Put a little carabiner around here so in case it drops it doesn't fall all the way in the water. This one's at about 36. And so we'll call that 9% of our braking strength. Maybe 8.5. Pretty low tension on all these things so far.
Well, we have noticed they were kind of loose.
I know. A good thing or a bad thing?
Leave your great advice below.
35.5 also. And this one's also at 35. So our aft lowers were the loosest. And the backstay. 36. It's good because we get to refer back to this. I don't have to take notes. 37 on this one. And that is our cap shroud. Stop wiggling. And that is 33.5 for the final one. I'm not going to worry about the head stay because we're not doing that one yet. Oh, that's at 35. That's our aft port shroud there. And that's it, folks. Let us know what you think of our rigging in the comments below. Alright, so we got all of our tensions read, and now I got them all taped off. I'm probably just going to loosen all of them a turn or two, and then loosen this back one all the way so I can pull that off. And then I can run a bolt through both of them, hang the chain plate from it, and we'll show you the rest. Alright, I tried to loosen up all the shrouds and cap shroud and everything too, but these two and the other side of the same ones, they both were kind of seized up, so I just sprayed some PB Blaster on it. But since those are to the top and upper, then I figured I can start on the lowers. So I got the lower off here, lower aft port shroud, and we can get started.
Got the first shroud off.
Good job. Look at you, so strong. What kind of tools did you use?
Needle, a plier, and my strong arms.
Oh yeah, look at those chain plates. They actually look kind of small from back here.
Yeah, super tough. Rawr.
Most people do 20, or I think 18 inches max for the chain plates, and we did like 24 inches on these, and they almost look like, yeah, 18 would have looked wimpy. I'm glad we got these. Not that we're all about style, you know, but it is. You gotta look tough.
Are we contemplating today?
Well, we got the first chain plate installed. That's pretty much how it is.
I wish it was
Just gonna
installed
leave it
like that.
floating like that. Yeah, I think the weight will hold the mast up, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, just kind of mocking it up to see how we're gonna mount this whole thing. And initially, I was kind of thinking that we were gonna keep the existing one, run a longer clevis pin through the shroud, and just kind of have it more like this, to where this is just kind of being a backup for crevice corrosion that were to happen in there, or whatever, vice versa, right? Go like that. But with the angle that I had them bend this at, it looks really good, like it's gonna fit the shape of the hole really well. But I think I had them kick this angle a little bit much. So that's kind of unfortunate. So it's making me think.
So if, yeah, that piece were there, then there's going to be kind of a big space right there.
Yeah, we don't want to do that. I'd rather just either have them bend this back to match the proper angle, or cut this old one out of the equation completely and just have this plate here, which I think is what we're leaning towards right now. Especially, you know, I mean, this should be as solid as it gets.
Our surveyor mentioned that that was kind of the normal route to go.
Yeah, he recommended that we just cut that off flush, seal it up, and then just have the new ones to go. So kind of where we're leaning towards, but not sure yet. Alright, so it's been a couple days now since we got the chain plates, and I got hung up on a couple of turnbuckles that were just seized in place, so I ended up soaking them with some peanut butter blaster. Got the turnbuckles loose, but then the little cotter pin in this one got stuck, and I ended up using heat, just this little propane torch on the turnbuckles. That's far enough away from everything to not bubble up any paint or do anything bad to the boat, and so that worked great. But this little cotter pin was too close, so the little Dremel torch for the win, again, because it's got a super directed flame, and was able to heat it up kind of just around the area right there without getting any paint right here. Hit it with a couple turns of PB Blaster and heat, and then kind of ended up starting with the needle nose pliers and turning it, and then got my little screwdriver in here and wiggle it free, and that should pop right out now. If I can do it with one hand. These little Klein angled dikes are great for this prying stuff. We use them in electrical for prying staples off your wire if you need to restaple something, and that little extra angle ends up helping a lot. Yeah, it's going now. But I don't think I'm gonna get it all the way out, so you guys are gonna have to just imagine what it looks like. Well, I'm glad I put you guys down for a second, because this has not been as easy as it seemed when it first pulled. Now I'm just kind of trying to work this back and forth and get some of that corrosion out of there, and then hopefully it'll bang out again. But this is a little bit more difficult than I had hoped it would be. And there she is. I just banged this screwdriver down with my old trusty electrician's hammer. Yep, came out. Look at that pin. It's pretty yucky. I don't know if you guys can see, but it does look like a little bit of kind of corrosion in there also. So who knows how far that's gone through the whole plate. But glad we're replacing these. Well, look at that. That is actually very, very good. I can't believe how well they kind of matched my template. It's a little bit off right there, but you gotta imagine bending that little section has got to be incredibly difficult. And it's at the bottom, and we'll fill that with some 4200. The rest of it is matching the hole shape pretty freaking perfectly. And then we got our little gap right there, so I could attach both. I just need to find a longer clevis pin to go through, and then yeah, run it like that probably, just so that we have an extra point of contact in the old chain plate too, but mostly rely off the new one. That's the idea for now. We'll see how she ends up. The only problem is that this one and this one line up perfectly like that, but I got this one over bent a little bit, so I don't think with the current bend that I'm going to be able to use both plates like I wanted to, just for that extra security since these are self-engineered. But I might end up just taking it back and having them unbend that a little bit. We'll see if that's even possible. We've been soaking these all night, and we're losing all our pretty patina. What do you think?
Bye bye, patina.
Aww. Looking good though. We want them as clean as possible so we can inspect everything and see if there's any little hairline fractures anywhere. So that's what I came up with. Hopefully it didn't do anything bad.
What you messing with is over here?
Well, it's time. Now all these turnbuckles were super difficult to get out. So before we start the whole chain plate project, I figured I'd go through and kind of tune them all up, make sure we're looking good. And it turns out we are not looking good. After I did the uppers yesterday and found some little cracks, and you can see like right there's a little hairline crack right there. So we are gonna need to replace some of these most likely. But I have a rigger coming tomorrow, and we're gonna get a professional opinion on what we need to replace, if we should just replace everything, what we need to do. And so just trying to make everything easy to inspect and nice and clean. And I polished them up with this Mother's, worked great.
And Connor was about to throw this in the garbage, and I was like, no.
She wouldn't let me. She used
Works
it on
great.
the stove. Worked good.
And how did you clean it all, right? You put it in a...
So I put it in a vinegar little bath for a couple hours, and that kind of helped get all the corrosion off. And then I just scrubbed it with like a bronze or a brass brush just to clean out all the threads. Brass is a soft metal, so it shouldn't mar up any of the bronze threads. And then I put this little anti-seize lubricant on there, little Permatex 133A. And we just found that on the boat, so I'm assuming that's what it was used for. Seems like it's good for seizing, galling, and corrosion. So we'll see if that is the right thing to use.
What's your plan today?
Alright, well, we got the rigger coming. We're gonna take down the head sail so we can inspect the forestay also and make sure that we don't need to replace that. And you know, if we're gonna replace any of the shrouds, we might as well do the forestay also, if it needs it. I don't want to go doing things that don't need to be done, but that turnbuckle looks a little rusty too. I haven't really inspected it for cracks yet, but we'll check that out. And if we're gonna do it, let's just make everything new so we know when to replace it next. So one of the other things that I've realized recently is it looks like this forestay may have stretched a little bit, or it was just cut wrong, or maybe they left some extra on it so that you could cut it and kind of re-splice it. These are all the stay-lock fittings, I believe. But you can see that this turnbuckle is bottomed out, so we have no more room to tension it, really. I mean, a couple more turns, but not much, right? Where usually when the rigging is new, I'm pretty sure you want the threads to be about here. So we've already used up that much of the threads, which is not a great sign as far as the condition of this. Also, you can see right here, I don't know if you'll be able to see, but I see a bunch of rust up here and then a little tiny hairline crack. Could just be a scratch. Anyways, we'll drop the head sail and see if we can find anything else going on in here. Let the blooper reels commence. We're gonna just go to the bathroom again. You hold that.
Great timing.
Alright, demolition has begun on the backstay chain plate. Got to measure it out so we can make sure that I don't need to get it bent, because I'm thinking about getting one of the lower shrouds bent. So I chopped this out with a multi-tool just to kind of give me a clean edge right here, and then I drilled down through there with 3 half-inch holes, and then I think I should just be able to kind of wiggle that drill bit back and forth until all those edges of the holes are all, you know, gone, and then we should have a hole, and I'll try and shove that chain plate up there. But looking pretty good. That turned out pretty stinking clean. I'm happy with that. Well, it's not quite as pretty from the backside, but that'll have to do, and most of it's gonna all get filled in anyways. I'll try and clean some of this up and shove that sucker through there. I just got to clean up some of these rounder edges, so I'm just using a Sawzall with a long blade on that just to kind of make that square instead of round, and hopefully it'll shove in there. Well, we did it. This was definitely the scariest one. Well, I can't say that. They're all pretty freaking scary. But that one went through. So, got that all the way through the deck and out the back. Pretty cool. Took a little wiggling, but
Nice.
go right up in there, and it does line up like pretty freaking well. I'm gonna have to do a little sanding to make it round the corner from the bend in the stainless isn't a perfect sharp angle, so there's a little bit of a bend there, but I think once I have that there, that's gonna line up straight with the hole, so we're good to go, baby.
Nicely done.
All right.
What are you finally getting into today?
We're finally gonna attempt to drill these holes. We had to, I went through, I guess, 4 different drill bits. First I had the 5/8 one, obviously, because it's a 5/8 hole that we need drilled. Then that didn't work. I was thinking about shimming something around here or making some sort of insert because it's just bigger than 5/8, and I want to be able to find the perfect center so that when I continue my hole, it's perfect through the center. So I went for, what's the next one, 11/16, and then I went for, that was too big, so I went for 21/32, and that was just a hair too big also. So now we're down to 41/64. Kind of a crazy measurement that I never thought I'd use, but luckily we found it. I'm gonna start going for it. Just I'm gonna mark out this whole plate first though and make sure that we're lined up and we stay on the same path the whole way. Once I get one bolt through, then we'll bolt it through so that the rest of the bolts are kind of lined up perfect. Keep bolting every time we drill so that it's all snugged up and everything should line up perfect when we're done. We have these all secured up here, so we shouldn't really have too much wiggle, and that should line up with exactly the length. Even though we're redoing the rigging, we still want to keep pretty much the same length as the previous rigging. So. Well, first hole is drilled to the metal through the fiberglass. That fiberglass is actually thicker than I thought it was going to be, but looking pretty good.
It happened a little bit ago.
Well, I thought that was going to be way more difficult. I had my little fishing tweezers.
Yeah, but why did you have this?
Come out, but look at that. That's the end of the drill bit. Luckily, I have 7 of them.
Oh, I can't get it. There you go.
Yeah, it's a very awkward position drilling from here. Basically, I'm sitting here like this. Don't worry, I have a little catchment system, but I'm sitting here like this, so when I went to get up and move, I wiggled that bit and it just snapped right off in there. I was pretty worried about it. I thought I was gonna be struggling with that for a while. Luckily, it just came out with the magnet, so counter wins, I guess.
How many holes down? How many to go?
4 down, 23 to go.
Correct.
This one's not going easy too, because this is the one that we already drilled the pilot through, but it's a little bit off. But I think when we were drilling the pilot, it ended up heating up the metal around it to where it's all work hardened. So I'm going through bit after bit on this one. I'm not having a good time, guys. Well, I think I might have picked myself another bouquet of oopsie daisies over here. I decided to drill the 1/4 inch pilot hole from the outside and then drill from in here following that pilot hole, and I can see through that hole that I am at the bottom of the square for the chain plate, which it shouldn't be at yet because it's supposed to be a 5/8 hole and there's only 1/2 inch drill bit through there right now. So hopefully I'm still able to correct that from outside, but I might have just screwed up and made things a lot more difficult, so we'll see how it goes.
It'll be okay.
I don't like oopsie daisies. Well, we're making pretty good progress. We got Malvina out there drilling some holes right now. We started off one and then did the pilot for her. And we did these both with my dad yesterday. He came out to help. Thanks, Dad. So we got 2 chain plates done on this side, and then the center one done on this side, and then the 2 more still to go over there, and then we'll have to do the back stay over there. So give you a little shot of Malvina working. Look at her go. Hi. Sharpening bits. The drill doctor only goes to 1/2 inch for bit size, so we're on 5/8 right now. And I got this little diamond bit in my little Dremel tool, and it seems to be working. Malvina's doing a great job drilling out these holes, but her bit was getting a little dull. She was getting a little frustrated, so I'm trying to help out.
Best helper ever. And I am so sore back from hiking Sequoia National Park in Kings Canyon, and since my legs are so sore and I can barely walk, I'm hobbling these days. Now my upper body gets some power. Woo!
I got the power! Just working away here.
I'm pushing as hard as I can.
Well, things are going pretty well. Looking good. Got 2 more on this side, and then we're done with this whole starboard side. So that's a good news, except, look at that. Luckily I got plenty of bits, but I had no idea I was that strong. That's a 5/8 drill bit, and I just snapped it with my bare hands.
The more holes he does, the more new techniques he comes up with. What did you learn on this hole, Connor?
Well, I started this one now. Well, I did this one the same way, but I did it with a 9/64, 1/8 inch, whatever, as a pilot. And I went through like pretty freaking easy, and then step it up to a 1/4 inch, and then I stepped it up to 3/8, and then 1/2 inch, and then 5/8, and that ended up working a lot better. I was a little bit worried about that for the other ones because, I mean, for the initial ones, because I want to make sure that I stayed perfectly centered. But it turns out that this is a good enough guide, and as long as I get the pilot hole pretty centered and line this up straight, and it all, almost dropped it, then it all seems to be working out pretty good. These are not perfect, but I think once we kind of cinch them down, hopefully they'll pull in a little bit, or I might bore it out a little bit with the drill, just kind of angle to try and straighten those. Or I might just say screw it, and that's good enough.
Good job.
What do you guys think? Well, things were going pretty well until we broke off a drill bit inside of the pilot hole there. So I just drilled another little pilot underneath that one where the drill bit's stuck in, and hopefully I can go from the other side and try to drill through the fiberglass and then punch that drill bit out from the other side. We'll see how it goes. Here's that other little bit, so I'm just gonna go right above that, and hopefully I can drill through and find that other hole and punch that bit out, because cobalt doesn't like drilling through cobalt. Upper one was where the drill bit was stuck in, and the lower one's the one where I just used to kind of find my placement there. So looks like we're all cleared out from this side. We'll go check the other side. Alright, I don't know if you guys can see that, but it worked, so we're clear. Time to throw that 1/4 inch through there, and just got to make sure I do the right pilot hole now. Since I've already broken 2 1/4 inch drill bits, I'm just going to step it up to the 5/8. Well, that 3/8 bit wasn't working very well either. I think there might still be some bit of bit in there. And so I tried this unibit, and then the tip of that broke off, as you can see. So this is a fun hole. This is my favorite. Last one of the day, of course. Since that side of the boat doesn't seem to be agreeing with me, I think I'm going to try and just drill out through this side. I got my 5/16 bit here. And I'm just going to drill through that top pilot hole, and we'll get her close enough, and then I can finish it off with the 5/8 from outside. Alvina's over there looking great, but feeling terrible because she broke the bit off in the hole. But I gotta admit, I think it was my fault, because I drilled the first hole too fast and that stainless steel was work hardened, so I'm gonna take the blame for that one.
So I'm just gonna hide over here. I'm gonna get back to editing. Pretend I didn't even help.
She helped so much. Been a great help. I'm lucky to have her. But I did get that hole cleared out. This whatever 5/16 bit wasn't working very well, and then I ended up trying this other little stubby unibit here and just boring it out through there, and that looks like we've gotten past the hard part anyway. So we'll go back to the outside and try with a bigger bit.
Stepping out here, just drilling this hole. Leaned over, dropped one of my AirPods into the water. And I cannot drill this hole. I just tried to sharpen this drill bit like Connor instructed me, and I feel like it did not help. I even used the drill bit that's brand new that he said don't use, because those are for later, for the chain plates for the stern, but I tried and it still didn't work. So I feel like a failure. Connor's gone for a few hours and I was really hoping he was going to come back, and I had a ton of holes finished. Optimistic thinking, but I don't know. I don't know what to do. I guess I'll start making dinner, so at least he has food to eat when he gets back.
Look at her go. Using all of her might.
Another day, another hole.
We got one done already, and it's not even noon.
Got more than one done.
Push.
Okay.
It's like pregnancy. You just gotta push. Dig deep, baby.
I'm getting shavings.
Good job.
Thanks everyone for following along. And if you're like us and want to view our episodes without advertisement, check out Alivo Sailing on Patreon. You have the option to join our community who enjoys ad-free content and other ways of connecting with us. Once you're on Patreon, you can click memberships, where it'll take you to the 3 tiers we offer. We offer the happy hour mate, the weekend cruiser, and also the liveaboard. This is a brand new addition we started to explore, so give us a holler if there are features you would like to see, and let's grow this Alivo community. Thanks y'all, now go seize the day.